Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is Don't Talk Sports. My name is Dylan. In today's video, what we'll be discussing is we're going to talk about Caleb Williams, and people have been talking about him possibly being the next Callahan from draft day. Basically, the whole story is Caleb Williams, whenever they went to the combine, a lot of times with top prospect quarterbacks, and I've said this before in a previous video, when you're a top prospect at the combine, usually I don't expect you to do any drills, any throwing, any running, any sprinting, anything like that along those lines. When the NFL combine happened, Caleb Williams, obviously we know he's going to be the #1 overall pick to Chicago. He did not do any of the drills, any of the running, no 40-yard dash, no throwing, no drills, none of the sorts. Do I have a problem with that? No, I do not. Do I have a problem with him not doing any of the other drills like the bench press, the high jump, any of those types of things? No, I do not. The problem that I have with him is the way he was doing his interviews. The way he was doing his interviews was a little bit suspect, and people would talk about is Chicago kind of looking at that as like, that's a little concerning, because if it was not a concern, they would have already traded Justin Fields away like yesterday. The fact that they have not traded Justin Fields away just yet is making some alarms go off. And the other set of concerns is that Caleb Williams did not give his medical details to any of the NFL teams, not even the Chicago Bears. Usually when a player goes to the combine, they get medical, figure out what their height, their weight, all sorts of stuff. They do a quick little physical, get an exam done, just to kind of check out, make sure you're healthy, make sure you're good to go to the NFL, and you're going to be good to go. Like I said, when it comes to Caleb Williams, he didn't do jack shit. Basically, all he did for the combine was he showed up, he went to the podium, answered a few questions, and then he just walked around. Like, when you kind of think about it, at that point, why'd you even show up? So without further ado, we're going to get straight into this. We're going to break it all down. So without further ado, if you're going to enjoy it, as always, make sure you're going to drop a like onto this video. Be very much appreciated if you do so. But without further ado, let's get into it. Now, before we go any further, I'm going to let you guys know there's two articles here that I'm having on screen that I'm kind of reading off of. I'll put both of the links down in the description below, so if you want to go just read it for yourself, feel free to do so. But first up, like I said, Caleb Williams, as we know, was not doing any medical exams at the combine, which is a unique approach and is actually the first time that anybody's ever done that. And the other little unique thing that's kind of weird about this, like I said, it's not uncommon, like it says here, to not do on-field testing. That is just, I don't expect people, especially whenever you're a top 5 pick, to do on-field testing. Like, why go out there and hurt yourself when you already have that solidified that you're going to be the top pick? But the thing that's kind of puzzling for everybody is the fact that he's making these decisions of, I'm not going to do medical, I'm not going to run any drills, I'm not going to do any of this stuff, when he doesn't even have an agent. Usually when you see all these players doing these kind of things, it's because they have an agent. Maybe it's a high-class agent. They're telling them, hey, don't do these things. They're giving him maybe some bad advice. Caleb Williams don't have an agent. He's just willingly doing these things, and he says his camp's telling him to do this. Who's his camp? Is it his family? Is it friends? Who's telling him? Now, the next little bit of thing is people talked about, is Caleb Williams really wanting to play for the Chicago Bears? Does he want to try to get out of there? I've made a video in the past about talking about where he should go. Maybe it was Washington. And I said because he's from the Washington area, maybe he wants to go to Washington. Cliff Kingsbury, his quarterback coach from USC, just became the offensive coordinator of Washington Commanders. Could he be trying to get there? But as it says here, he had a little discussion with ESPN's Pete Thamel over the phone, and he said, and I quote, "If I get drafted by the Bears, I'll be excited. If they trade the pick and I get drafted by somebody else, I'm just as excited." Speaking about Chicago, they have a talented team, a talented offense and defense for anyone to be in that situation. I think they'd be excited, quote. He then goes on to say, quote, "I'm not pushing the agenda," quote. William continued to say, quote, "At the end of the day, the Bears have the last say. Regardless of how I feel, I'm not pushing an agenda of, yeah, I want to go, or no, I don't want to go. I'm excited for whatever comes," quote. Now, here's the thing with Caleb Williams that I've been saying over many videos in the past. He's a great player. The problem is, when you look at his game film, highlights everywhere, terrific, amazing player. But when you look behind the scenes of what he's like, what is he like as a person? Is he just going to be a diva? Is he a prima donna? And that seems like the kind of player, kind of person he is. Now, I like to say don't judge a book by its cover, but in this moment, I'm kind of judging a book by its cover, and a lot of NFL teams and scouts around the league have kind of said the way he was at the combine kind of threw them off. Like, if you're just looking at just strictly game film and just looking at the talent, yeah, you're going to say, yep, that's the #1 overall pick. But if you're looking at the person that also, you have to remember, even when you're not out there on the field, you have to be a great person in the locker room. You got to be a great person in the room, the quarterback room, around the facility, person that you're going to be a friend with, a teammate with. Are you going to enjoy being around this person? Now, like I said in the intro, people were comparing him to Callahan from the movie Draft Day. The reasoning behind all that, I don't really get. I guess if you want to say because Caleb Williams, he's being projected to be like the top quarterback in the past decade, prospect wise, he's like just so talented, so amazing. What were we talking about Callahan in the movie Draft Day? They said he was pure Roethlisberger. He was like the next John Elway. He was all these different things. He was going to be so amazing. Everybody said if you passed on Callahan, you were going to be just like a nutcase of the NFL, fired as a GM, you were going to go nowhere. Sonny from Draft Day, he said, fuck that, I'm going to go draft a linebacker. But getting back on track with Caleb Williams, I guess they can kind of go in coexistent of things of they were both just extra talented quarterbacks. Everybody said you need to draft this guy. This guy was going to be super successful. What happened in the movie Draft Day is not going to happen with present day. In the movie Draft Day, Bo Callahan dropped all the way to the 7th pick because Seattle ended up trading back in. They wanted to get the draft pick. Well, long story. Go watch the movie. In present day, in the actual real life scenario, Caleb Williams is going number 1. I don't care what anybody says. The only reason that Caleb Williams does not go number 1 overall is if the Chicago Bears decide to make the ultimate sacrifice and say, we're going to not take Caleb Williams. We're going to keep Justin Fields, and we're taking Marvin Harrison Jr. number 1. Now, as I kind of read more into it, I kind of see what people are talking about. Like I said, Bo Callahan and Caleb Williams, they were both the best players in their class. People said they were generational talent. They were Heisman winners. They had everything going for them. Now, when it comes to Williams' draft stock, the thing I would say is it's kind of tweaky, in my opinion. His draft stock can't really go up because he's already projected to be the number 1 overall pick. Can it go down? Maybe, like I said, if the Chicago Bears wanted to make the God-forsaken mistake and go and just skip on him, keep Justin Fields, draft Marvin Harrison Jr., give Justin Fields a receiver, and then just try and cruise from there. That is their choice if they decide to go that route. Then Caleb Williams can go to Washington, and then from there, I think he'd be a little more happy. There's just a weird part of me that says Caleb Williams is going to be a good player. I just feel like he needs to go to the right situation, and it's between Washington and Chicago. Now, for those of you who may forget, way back a couple months ago, I made a video talking about some news that broke about Caleb Williams wanting to have part ownership in an NFL team. I guess that's kind of the next thing that kind of has to be discussed. Which team can give up part ownership? Is the Chicago Bears owner, who I believe is like 100 years old, that lady, is she going to give up part ownership to Caleb Williams and just sell the farm before she dies to give her franchise guy part ownership? Or are they going to have to go to the Washington Commanders, to Joe Harris, or whatever his name is, and say, hey, give me 1% of the ownership of this team, and I will be your franchise guy? I still think that was the most craziest thing I ever heard break news in the NFL. So ultimately, to kind of round up, here's what I'll say. Caleb Williams is going to be a great quarterback. I don't think he's 100% like Bo Callahan, but he's about 50-50. You could kind of say the debate. I think if Caleb Williams wants to be a better quarterback in the NFL, obviously, like I said, he has great talent. Great talent. He needs to fix the ego a little bit. If you're just walking around acting like you're all big shot, you're the best person ever, you all got to get on my level, you can't handle me. But then if you go out there this season and you start playing some games and you end up finishing the season like 5-12, 4-13, people are going to start looking around saying, hey, weren't we just 7-10 with Justin Fields last year? You're going to start getting your head called for. And he can't go around pointing fingers saying, y'all got to block, y'all got to catch. Last time I checked, when you lose, it's my fault. When we win, it's y'all did everything to help us win. I didn't do anything. That's the way a quarterback needs to learn. And I'm hoping to God Caleb Williams doesn't go down this route to where he starts blaming others for his mistakes. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm just saying, just the way the ego is with Caleb Williams, the way he's acting, the way he's all prima donna, like the way you've seen him on the Instagram stories flashing his money everywhere. I am just hoping to God he can fix those issues, get to football, and just focus on football. So without further ado, I'm going to wrap it up there. Hopefully you guys did go on to enjoy today's video. If you did enjoy, as always, make sure you're going to drop a like on today's video. Be very much appreciated if you do so. If you wanted to watch the entire today's video, thank you very much. And like I said, if you have a different opinion, do you think Caleb Williams is like Bo Callahan, is not like Bo Callahan? What do you think about Caleb Williams? Is he going to fix his ego? Does he have an ego, not have an ego? Leave your complete opinion about the whole thing down in the comment section down below. Be more than welcome to talk about with you guys. If you're a fan of the content that I do post here and you want to go and hit that big red subscribe button, feel free to do so. And do not forget to hit that little notification bell. Be notified second to post. But without further ado, this has been Dylan Talk Sports. Have a great day. Peace.